Good morning, good afternoon, good evening maybe for some of us. Welcome very much to our CBI Home Decoration, Home Textile webinar. Thank you very much for taking your time for joining us. Our webinar will be today about the wellness, a consumer trend in the home decoration, home textile sector. We have some house rules. We are not able to see or hear you. Please put any question you have in our question box and we will answer you either by the box or later in the Q&A session. The session will be recorded. The presentation will be shared with you within the next coming days after our webinar. And well, most of all, enjoy our webinar. Next slide, please, Kees. As I told you, we will be holding a webinar today about wellness, and this will be presented by Kees Bronk. I think for many people you know him already, but he will introduce himself and the team after the introduction of the CBI part. Next slide. So my name is Jantien Rutte, and I'm for CBI the Market Intelligence Program Manager, and I'm responsible for the sectors coffee, cocoa, and the home decoration, home textile. And I have been involved also for many years in the coffee trade throughout the world. Next slide, please. So we will have our agenda. We have a small introduction on the CBI. I won't do it too long because the most important part will be about the webinar given by Kees. And then we will end our session with question and answers. Please be informed that if we do not have in time for all questions, we will answer to you them by email later after the webinar. So please put your questions in the question box. Next, please. So CBI is the Center for the Promotion of Imports from Developing Countries, and we develop projects within our target countries and to support the small to medium-sized exporters to help them to export to Europe or to regional markets within the food agro sector. We are active and some service sectors. We do this by strengthening the economic, social, and the environmental sustainabilities. We offer a practical solution for the bottlenecks that are experienced in the export value chain. And we create networks in the European market, and we share our knowledge. And one of the bottlenecks that we have identified is the lack of market intelligence information. And therefore, we are here today to share with us the information. Next, please.
Oopsie.
So we focus on 14 sectors. And within these sectors, we have, of course, home decoration, home textiles, and we have from our government, we have target countries, which you see here, which we focus on, and we try to develop the projects with small to medium-sized exporters. And we focus on top of that on certain themes like gender and youth and digitalization. Next, please. Next, please. Yes. So we work with target groups. First of all, our most important target group are, of course, the small to medium-sized exporters. We work very much together with business support organizations. We work together with importers to connect them to the exporters. And we work with policy makers. Next, please. And so what kind of information do we provide within CBI? We make a division between market analyzed studies and market entry studies. So within the market analyzed studies, we have, for example, the trends, and within the market entry studies, we have different kinds of studies like how to organize your export or finding European buyers. And as from this year, we have a new study added to the market entry, that is tips how to go digital. Besides the market analysis and market entry studies, we also provide product fact sheets on the most promising export products, and we all place these studies on our website. You see the address here on the slide, where you can find all this information, which is also for free. You can download it, you can use it for your own business. Next, please. So here is an example. If you click on our website, you go to market information, and you see here the sectors that we are active. So if you click on the home decoration, home textile webpage, you are able to find there all the relevant information. Next slide, please. So like here, for example, our studies on what is the demand and what are the trends. And we have news items, we have other sector informations. We place here our product fact sheets. Please, next slide. So here you can see how we show our studies. You can read them online, or you, as I told you, can download these, you can share them. Next slide, please. So here are our contact details for people who would like to contact us. Next slide, please. And now I would give the digital floor to Kees Bronk. Again, very much, thank you very much, Kees, for taking us through this webinar. And well, enjoy it. And Kees will introduce the HDHT, the Home Decoration Home Textile Market Intelligence Team.
All right, thank you so much, Jantien, for the introduction. Yes, I have the privilege of talking to you today about wellness, but of course I'm not doing this alone. It's very much teamwork. Karine Matzer, who's the market researcher as Globally Cool, she's the wizard in statistics and the initial analysis of market trends. My colleague Remco very much has the same profile that I have, which is coaching, training, matchmaking, to SMEs worldwide in home. We've been doing this between 30 and whatever, 20 years. So we're doing this, this work today was done together, but I will talk to you. You'll hear Remco at the end of the show when we do the Q&As. Okay, let's start. So wellness. First of all, we're going to talk about what does it actually mean. We're going to look at what's behind wellness, how did it come about, and why is it such an important trend? And then we zoom in on the market for home and the general markets. And finally, we're going to give you tips about how to deal with wellness in your situation. All right, so wellness is a consumer trend. We could say it's one of the biggest going on right now. So what is it all about? Well, it's about me, only better version of myself. So that means happier, healthier, smarter, more sporty, more creative, more ethical, greener, more connected. So this is me trying to improve myself. That's what wellness is all about. Trying to improve. Another word for that in marketing that's used a lot is aspiration. So it's an aspirational trend. You want to become something. And in this case, you want to become better in all those areas. Now, that's not an official definition. So I approached the Global Wellness Institute. Here you see them. This is the biggest authority on wellness worldwide. It's very interesting to follow them. They have an amazing website. And I asked them, what's your definition of wellness? And this is what they say. They say you're moving towards a state of holistic health. Well, that was something, eh? So part of it, I think we understand that health is like kind of, we're becoming more healthy in a way. And towards a state, so you're moving towards becoming more healthy. Holistic, it's quite interesting, but what does it actually mean? So I've tried to unravel it. Usually with definitions, they don't help you so much. And also this definition helps you a little bit, but maybe not too much. So let me unravel it for you. Wellness, it has a physical side and a mental side. So that's the biggest break I can make for you there. Physical, mental, or in other words, It's about the body and the mind. So you want to be well in your body and the mind, and even more so, you want them to be connected. All right, so mental, physical, or body and mind, that's what it's all about. But I can break it down a little bit further. See if you can follow me. So if we look at the body side, then it has to do with fitness. You want to feel fit, and also you want to feel healthy. So those two are different. Fitness is like taking walks and being very sporty, and health is like just being healthy. Your system works. So this is more active. You have to work out in a way, and this is more slow, a slow lifestyle. Don't overdo it, and listen to your body. Okay, so body, active, slow. Then we can do the same thing on the mental side. This intellectual and spiritual. What does that mean? Well, this is the rational side and the emotional side that's going on in your mind. I can make that even clearer by saying you feel more connected on the emotional side, you feel more in control, and on the rational side, you get new knowledge and new skills. So you develop your mind in a way. Okay, let me take one more step. Hopefully you can still follow me. There we go. The emotional side has to do with being connected to us. We are social beings, and we want to feel connected to the other social beings. So this is there's a we aspect there, but there's also a me aspect. I want to feel well about myself, okay, inside me. So me and we, the social side of myself and myself. Okay, that's the emotional side. You want to feel connected to yourself. Who am I? Is an important question there. And you want to feel more connected to the rest of the world around me. So we can do the same thing on the body side, which is your internal and external reality. Okay, this is health. I want to feel healthy in my system, my own system. And also, I want this entire system, the earth, to be healthy. All right, so quite complex. Let me run it by you one more time. Wellness, here we go. Body and mind. Okay, let's follow the mind. This is, I want to learn new things. I want to develop my brain. Emotional side, I want to develop my social IQ. Okay, and then, yeah, I want to connect better to the people around me, and I want to connect better to myself. This is authenticity. Who am I? Then we go down. Okay, so we go down to the body side, the active side, which is being sporty and fit, and the slow side is to have a normal lifestyle that makes my body healthy, you know, avoiding stress. Okay, well, if you're active and you're fit, then also you feel better about yourself, and then you will also be a better social being. So the same goes for the slow side. If you feel that our system is more, your own system is more healthy, and also the earth is more healthy, then that also connects, because a more healthy earth means also more healthy people. And then, of course, that also means the individual people, they feel better. So you see, in a way, in a complex way, maybe, it's all connected. And maybe that's what the Global Health Institute, Wellness Institute means by holistic. It's all connected. All right, this is kind of theoretical, but I hope you can follow me in broad strokes. The main thing, of course, to remember is that it's about the mind and the body and the connection. Okay, holistic health, if you like. So this was the hardest part of the webinar. You know, sit back and relax. Okay, keep this in mind, body and mind. All right, here we have something dangling from the ceiling, which is wellness. Okay, wellness is a consumer trend, and it's a big one, as I said. So what does that actually mean? It means that consumers are looking for products and services that makes them feel well. Okay, and now we know well means mentally and physically, right? So it's a consumer trend. Well, consumer trends don't happen in isolation. and they are connected. In other words, there's something behind it that drives them. Okay, and those drivers are things that happen in the world, okay, in society. And these we call megatrends. So whatever happens in the world somehow sparks this big important trend in consumer land, which is wellness. And so there's a connection there. Okay, megatrends cause consumer trends. And let me break this down for you. What are the drivers behind wellness? All right, well, first of all, there's a whole bunch of social drivers, and I'm just picking two. This is the COVID-19, of course, all in it. And it's also a social trend which we call polarization. And let me explain those two to you first. Here we go. Hello, this is me again, right? I look rather worried, and that's because, of course, there's COVID. Okay, what does COVID do to me? I have fear of contamination. We all have that. So that's a very, very basic fear, and we shouldn't underestimate it. But I also feel caged in because of COVID. Here we go. So I feel behind bars, and I have stress about, can I keep my work? Can I still have income? So very basic stresses that you have due to COVID. I also feel lonely quite a lot because I can't go out. I can't meet my mates. I can't see people a lot. I can't have drinks. So loneliness is a big thing. And of course, that really connects to mental wellness. And then stress at work. You know, we're all working from home if we have work. And that also causes a lot of stress. You know, you also have your family to look after. You're online all the time. You just feel frustrated with the lack of direct contacts. So COVID causes a lot of anxiety. And of course, people are looking to feel better from that. So COVID is very much a driver of wellness, but it's not the only driver. Another big social driver is what we call polarization. And that means basically people are split into different groups and they don't like each other. They don't communicate to each other. They don't trust each other. So questions here is, yeah, what is the truth? Who's telling me the truth? Is it Trump or is it some other group? Who can I trust? Can I trust government? Can I trust the medical society? Who can I trust is a big question there as well. But also, whose side are you on? So people think if I have one opinion, then I want to know somebody else's opinion. And what's more, if you have different opinions, you feel you're in different bubbles and you don't talk to people from the other bubble at all. So you only follow the left-wing policy propaganda or the right-wing policy, and you don't mix. Okay, so this whole thing of a polarized society, a polarized world, I'm sure we all recognize it to some extent. This is also not making us feel well, because essentially we are social beings and we do want to connect, but we are not. We are in different bubbles. So COVID and polarization, they both cause a feeling of, can I feel better and how? But there's more. It's also environmental. Obviously the climate crisis. All right, here we go. So here we have the world. You see, I don't feel really well here in the corner. And this is a world. It's on fire. And the ice caps are melting. And also this whole ozone layer is also being buggered. So we have a lot of issues there. And we all share this anxiety about the climate crisis, hopefully. And so that's a big, big factor behind this drive for wellness. I want to feel better as a person on this earth. Next one, demographic. This has to do with a new generation of people coming up, citizens who are also the dominant consumers now. This is the Millennials and the Gen Z generation. Basically, this is the people in their 30s, 20s, and teens. And they have something to tell us. And then somehow in Western society, we are at the apex of Maslow, and let me try to explain what that means. Okay, two influences here. Here we have Maslow. He was a scientist, and he has basic pyramids of needs that people all need, and they are going in different steps. So first of all, you need to have food, water, the basic needs. And most of those are covered in Western society. Then you feel safe. You have to feel safe. Security, you have to have a home, and all of that. Safety is the next level, and most of that is covered in the West. Then we need love and belonging, so more emotional attachment, and most of that is covered. Then the next step there is esteem. You want to be recognized for something. You want to have confidence from being recognized. People need to like you and appreciate what you're doing. And that esteem level, a lot of people in Western society have actually reached it. So here we are, self-actualization. This is the top of the Maslow pyramid. And it's about, I want to feel more moral. I want to lose my prejudices. I want to feel more creative, and all of that. Self-actualization is a big driver behind wellness. It is actually wellness. And once you've done all this physical wellness and a little bit of the mental wellness, then you're taking the final step towards this overall wellness idea. That's why it's driving it. Next one, this is this new generation that I was talking about, the Millennials and the Gen Z generation, the people in their teens, 20s and 30s. As I said, not only the dominant group in the world now in terms of citizens, but also the dominant consumer group. And so they are calling the shots soon, also in our industry. Now they have role models, and I've identified 4. Selena Gomez, I hope you understand who that is. If not, Google her. She's very famous for talking about her anxieties in the social media. She's gone through a lot of mental and physical issues, and she's really open about it, and she has millions of followers. And so this generation really follows her example, and they try to be honest as well. Elliot Page, he's a transgender kid, and he talks about it in the social media. So he's talking about gender issues and how we should be much more diverse in this world. It's a big role model. Amanda Gorman, I'm sure we recognize her from 6th of January, the inaugural poetic speech there. And she talks about empowerment, especially Black Lives Matter and diversity generally. And then Greta Thunberg, of course, we all know her, and she talks about climate crisis. So these 4 people, these 4 role models, they are actually driving this whole new generation of people looking to feel more well, if you like. Here we go. So we have social drivers, we have COVID and the anxieties, we have polarizations, we don't trust each other anymore, but we like to. We have the climate crisis, which affects us all and makes us all afraid. And we have this new generation pushing us to change things in the world and to be much nicer to each other and much more diverse. And then we have the apex, which is, yeah, we are ready to reach another stage in our wellness. Here we go. So it's not strange maybe now that given that this is going on in the world, that we are in search of a physical and mental well-being. Okay, so hopefully by now, I'm proving to you that wellness doesn't just dangle from the ceiling, but it's actually connected to what's happening in the world. Let's move on. So, key question in wellness is, how can I become a better person? And also, so, the better person, I just highlighted it, but also, how can I make sure that everybody notices that I'm a better person? And that's an important thing, because you just don't want to be better just because you want to be better, but also you want to be recognized for it. You want other people to see it and hear about it. So the social media there are a very important platform of actually expressing your next stage in wellness. And so don't forget about this. Wellness is like, of course, very sincere aspiration to become better, but it's also a status thing. Both those things are true. So a few statistics for you, simple ones. Young living is a very nice wellness brand, and they do a lot of research, and they are saying 48% of the people they have interviewed, they are now giving wellness a top priority. This has a lot to do with the pandemic, but also they saw this coming anyway. So almost half of the respondents, they feel they should give wellness top priority. That means connecting more with nature, decluttering, organizing yourself better, engage in religious and worship activities. So develop your spiritual side, right? Remember, go for walks, as simple as that. And also meditate. Again, the spiritual side of the spectrum. Also, more half of people have actually adopted new wellness habits. And that could be a list here. You know, they take walks every day. And so more than half of people were stimulated by the pandemic to actually start wellness practices. And more than half of that will actually make it a lifestyle thing. So they'll hang on to it. Okay, they will not, maybe they've started yoga practice or anything like that, and they will continue to do so and make it part of their lifestyle. So all very significant changes. And then close to 60% believe that it's mainly a mental issue. Okay, you can feel well in your body, but what matters is really how it makes you feel mentally. Yeah? Can you cope with more? Keep this in mind. Here we go. Okay, now what can we do in terms of business? Well, it's well researched that consumers are very open for business to help us in reaching a next stage in wellness. All right, it's quite okay if businesses help us out doing that. So by giving us services or products that actually help us do this. So what is big business doing? A lot, I think. Just a few picks. There's this world famous UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is the Minolta Planetarium in Japan. And this famous site is not just now for looking at the planets, but they also give relaxation sessions. Okay, so what you see in the streets a lot is furniture. It's kind of like pods, and you can sit inside and meditate a little bit. So even in public places now, we get public furniture developed by Headspace in this case, that helps you meditate. So you get out of the hustle and bustle in the streets and you sit quiet for a moment. There's an app, very nice one, which helps you to find foodstuffs yourself, like mushrooms, edible plants, and then you use those for cooking. You know, it's very much happening at the moment, that kind of thing. And Selfridge is a very famous department store. They have been hosting weaving classes. So they're actually teaching you how to weave. You all know this yourself, but you know, in the big business world, this is quite new. So this is again, how can I develop your skills, consumer? Maybe, for instance, by weaving. You should be doing this. All right, then Ikea, of course, we all know them. And they have this famous campaign about sleeping, how to sleep well. And you know, if they have a campaign, everybody listens, the whole world. Then Hermès, luxury brand, quite the opposite to Ikea. And they are showing their customers how their famous scarves are being screen printed. And for a lot of consumers, this is quite enlightening. And so basically presenting, making stories is something we are used to doing. In the big business now, it's also being used. So that people bring home the scarf now from Hermès and they pay a fortune for it. But now they also know how it was made. How interesting is that, eh? And then Ikea again, they are very practical and they say, we have curtains now, excuse me, they have curtains now that remove air pollution. And finally, there's a startup called Social Studies, but you know, big business is doing this a lot now. And they bring a dinner party to your home. So they send a box, it has all the tools, the whole kit for creating a private dinner party at home. Again, this is connecting, this is you as a social being, it's celebrating, it's wellness. Just a few examples of business. You can track these examples yourself. So what I was trying to say here is, yes, big business is very much into it. Lots of examples. Now, not only in one business or one industry, we find this. Wellness goes right across all the industries, from fashion, food, which is the more, and health, which is the more normal areas where you would expect to find wellness offers. It now also goes into architecture, very interesting. An aspect of that they call nudge architecture. So they help you build or rebuild or redecorate your home with a focus on how do I feel in these spaces in my home. Very interesting. Of course, to fitness and yoga, even in finance, they're looking for ways of having a more equitable offer in finance. So across the industries, wellness is a big thing, people. And I just want to say it's a huge trend. We can't stay away from it. So wellness in home is also a market trend in our market. Here we go. Let's just remind you of what it was again. So me only better, happier, healthier, smarter, more sporty, more creative, more ethical, greener, more connected in and around the home. Plenty of opportunity in home. Let me just open a few boxes for you. Easy chairs, category, or product group, whatever you like. Of course, relaxing. This is very much part of wellness. Soap. You know, soap is a soap. It makes you feel healthy in a way, but you can also say it's part of spa now, and that makes it also more healthy. Dinnerware. This is connecting people over dinner. Candles and fragrance, yeah, creates atmosphere and therefore coziness between people. Wellness people, mental. Planters, closer to nature, wellness. Notebooks, you know, I can send emails, but I can do a handwritten note as well. Slow communication, wellness. Garden furniture, close to nature, relaxing in the garden, wellness. Home office, yeah, I have to work at home, but can I do this more comfortably? Wellness. Bathroom, yeah, a bath is a bath. We used to take quick showers in the West, and now we're trying to create a little bit more of a spa atmosphere in the home. Wellness. Cleaning is cleaning. It's important. Keep your house clean, but it also, when your house is clean, your mind is also clean. Wellness. Celebration, you know, Christmas, public and private celebrations like baby born, marriage, all of that. It's nice to do it, but it essentially celebration, it's essentially connecting people to other people. It's essentially love or wellness. So decorative accessories, there's always a discussion about this, because this is about putting figurines and all sorts of accessories around your home. So is it also wellness? Yes, because, you know, figurines you choose not because you need them, but because you like them. And what you like is also has an emotional connection to the product. So therefore, also decorative accessories, cluttering your home, counter trend can also be wellness. Cookware is, again, cooking and dining together, connecting people. It's very much happening. We have a sub-trend here, and you'll find it in the CBI documents, which is called MasterChef. Yeah, you want to imitate the MasterChef programs in television, and you also want to show at home to your friends that you're an excellent cook. And of course, you want the best tools for that. And also you want to cook with them, not at them, if you like. So cookware is MasterChef, is connection, is wellness. Occasional furniture, this is in a way helping you to keep your spaces empty and effective, wellness. Shelving and storage, it's this kind of counter trend to the accessorizing. Shelving and storage, decluttering your home. So creating space in your actual space, but also headspace, wellness. Bedding, sleeping, wellness. Bedroom, wellness. Towels, you can link it to spa. You could call them hammam towels, and there you go. You have wellness. Yoga, wellness. Garden accessories, So not just the furniture, but maybe to helping you to grow your own and rummage around a little bit in the garden and develop green fingers and really feel nature at close range. Dare I say it, wellness. Boxes and baskets, it's of course closely linked to shelving and storage. You know, it's nice to have a nice basket and a decorative piece, but you can also put stuff in it and therefore declutter your home. And therefore, we're talking wellness. Barbecue, eating together out, al fresco dining in the garden, wellness, table textiles, cooking and dining together, kitchen textiles, cooking and dining together. So actually, it looks as if anything in the home is wellness. In a way, it is, but it's also how you position it. All right, a candle is a candle, but if you make it, give it scent, or if you give it nice homey colors, and if you communicate the wellness element, what it does to your body and mind in the home atmosphere, then you're tuning it to wellness. So it's like both what products you select, but also how you communicate the values behind this product is what counts. Okay, so what I'm saying basically here, yes, some groups by nature are wellness groups like yoga, but also some groups you can actually communicate it as having wellness effects on the consumer, and both those things are important. Right, so plenty of opportunities in home, and where can you find about the wellness elements in all of these groups? On the CBI website, you just heard Jantien talking about the market intelligence side. We do product fact sheets on all or most of those product groups. And in the section trends, you will find us talking about wellness and all the other trends related to this group. So follow us, I would say. Plenty of opportunity. Okay. Then it's not just product selection. There's also cues for design, and I'm keeping it very broad now for wellness. Physical, of course, which is like closeness to nature, makes us feel well. We know that this is now important. If you feel close to nature, how can you do this? Well, natural materials, obviously. You know, if you use wood, keep it blonde, don't coat it, so that you can actually touch the wood and really see the grain and feel close to nature. Triggering the senses is something we can all do. You know, this trend is huge for textiles wellness. Obviously, you can put a lot in it, especially in textiles, especially its texture. You know, in Western society, in a way, as a consumer, we've lost this fifth or fourth or third, I don't know which sense it is, of feeling, of touch. And touch is emotion. So when you are in a trade fair and you're meeting a potential buyer, you put the product in their hands so that they can actually touch it. And touching is emotion, and emotion is wellness. So triggering the senses, especially texture, in soft and hard materials is a big thing right now. Everybody talks about texture, and they're also trying to put that into the design. But of course, color, anything. Cozy and comfy styles is what you expect in physical wellness. You know, you create this easy chair or a couch or cushions, and they help you physically to feel comfortable. Also, retro glam is a trend which has been going on and will be going on for a little bit longer. And this is the luxury element around you, really like luxurious materials. And also looking back to an era like the 1920s, for instance, when it was all very glamorous. So this is both an element of physical and mental wellness. You're putting yourself in a historical world, maybe the 1920s. Right now, we have a lot of Art Deco going on in a new kind of way. Then the mental side of design is playful or spiritual styles. So in wellness, you can really go wild and colorful and expressive, which is the playful element, or you can go to the other side, spiritual, soft, quiet, internally looking. Both those are okay. It's just very difficult to combine it. I would not combine it ever, But both those directions are possible. Playful makes you feel happy, and spiritual makes you go inside and quiet. And both those directions are very important for a person looking for wellness. And they may, as a consumer, make their own choices there. Okay, but you can be one or the other, or have different lines there. Okay, find your style. That's important. Then long-term thinking in design is important. What do I mean by that? That means you're going to use materials that don't deplete the natural resources of the earth. You're going to design for a longer term use. You're going to design so that they can be easily taken apart and recycled. So don't think short term, don't think about destroying the earth, but think along with the natural resources, think long term. Of course, that's very much a sustainability element. And then authentic and handmade is very important. Authentic means we're very open to learning, as I explained in the wellness definition. We're very open to hearing new stories. And, you know, that could be your stories, your cultural stories, and your making stories, your maker stories, to make us feel something that we haven't experienced before, something new, something authentic, something honest. Honest is a big word at the moment. And then handmade has the same effect. Handmade is like a personal product made by a personal in a very personal way. And so they're all different a little bit, handmade products. And that gives you as a consumer a way to make your own choice. You know, I like this one slightly better than that one, so I go for that one. Handmade is authentic, is wellness, and much more. Okay, so I've just in the slide before this, I was trying to give you an indication of what categories and product groups in home could work. Here, I'm also telling you that you can also, in your design, try to create mental or physical wellness elements. Okay, that could be a style or a use of material, for instance. Then, as I keep hammering, this is a very important trend. And one aspect of that is that it's also connected to other trends that are quite deep at the moment. And a connecting trend is what we call home sweet home. You can read all about this in our trend document at the CBI site. Home sweet home is about home and what it means to me. And it has to do with belonging, family around me, to feel cozy, a little bit of luxury. Cocooning, it's a big word at the moment. It was a big word in the 1980s when we were all young, and it's coming back again. Cocooning means, yeah, we are huddling close together at the fireside in our homes. So there's two consumer groups there, the older boomer type of consumer, which is people born after the Second World War, let's say. The people are all old now, and there's also the family group, whatever family type, right? We're thinking much more diverse now about family than ever before. So both families and boomers go for this trend. That boomers have a more like luxurious expression, and the family a more affordable expression of home sweet home. And above all, it's a style, and the style talks about nostalgia, a little bit of sophistication, quite decorated, but also cozy and comfy, natural and warm. So you can imagine nostalgic, sophisticated, but also cozy and comfy. Those are words we also used in wellness. So to create a home sweet home, cocooning atmosphere in your home, you're saying, I'm creating a wellness environment in my home. All right, so a connecting trend which strengthens, which reinforces the wellness trend. And there's another one, of course, and I think I already hinted it, and that is sustainability. Okay, and again, physical, fresh air, of course, creating fresh air in your home. You know, remember the curtains by Ikea that take pollution out of your home, of course, is a physical wellness element. Outdoor life, the garden, you know, it's not only sustainability, but it's also wellness. And that makes it very strong, because nowadays sustainability is also how does it touch me? How does it make me feel emotionally? So yeah, we're all concerned about the earth, but it's now also a mental state. And I tried to explain that to you in the first slides, is that if the person called earth is better, then also the people feel better. And then as an individual, you feel much better. I'm coming back to that in a minute. So being connected to nature is not only sustainability, it's also wellness. Plants and flowers in the home, natural materials, and natural finishes. And as I said before, triggering the senses. Okay, then mental wellness, the mental side of sustainability. It's very important, and this has progressed in the consumer's mind. Okay, initially, like a few years ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, consumers, a first group of consumers, they wanted to say, I don't need all this guilt when I buy something. I don't want to feel guilty, so I buy sustainable. And those were the first people accepting it. But you know, very much from a negative emotion. I don't want to feel guilty. How great is that? That's not a good consumer need. So it slowly became a little bit more positive to what can I contribute? So when I buy sustainable or a wellness product, then how can I contribute to a better world? Or in terms of wellness, how can I contribute to a better me? So contribution is, of course, much more active than guilt. Guilt's very passive. And then now it's become more activist. And this has a lot to do with Gen Z and Millennials. They are saying, listen, if you're not green, we'll shame you. In a nicer kind of way. The Millennials are saying, we vote with our pockets. So we only go for green brands, let's say, green in terms of social and environmental. So green shaming, it's sustainability becoming a little bit more activist. And that's in line with what we're seeing in wellness. Do you remember the 4 role models that I showed you? They are all very activist people, and they are role models for millions of millennials and Gen Z generation. So green shaming, they expect you to take action, to stand for something. And then finally, it's also going a little bit more spiritual. And the spiritual side to wellness and sustainability used to be quite niche, but it's no longer. It's becoming quite acceptable. And this is what can we learn from Mother Nature, from, let's say, original peoples and how they live and work, but also from how nature regenerates and how can we put this in design. We need to talk much more about this. But the point I'm trying to make in this slide is only that sustainability and wellness are now firmly connected. If you become more green, it has an effect on your physical and your mental well-being. So the connection between sustainability, home sweet home, and wellness makes the trend even stronger. Well, we're not going to escape it anymore. So all of us need to build in wellness elements from now on. And this leads me to the tips. So tips is ask yourself a few key questions about wellness. And here I go. So ask yourself, what wellness related categories are in home? Which can I adopt, focus on? And maybe I can specialize even into wellness and make your own. Okay, so make a choice. And there's two directions here. You can make wellness part of your DNA, and maybe it already is. Then the cue there is to develop it and make it stronger. Or you can adopt a few wellness elements into your concept. That's also fine, as long as you keep it honest. And I'm coming back to that in a minute. Okay, so do something with it and look at wellness and what the opportunities are. And as I said, a product is a product. It's not by nature already wellness. But if you mention what it does to your mental and physical states, then you can make it a wellness product. So one strand in wellness, as I told you before, is that consumers want to develop their brain power, okay, their knowledge. And so question to you is, what making and maker stories can you tell? Because the consumer is very open to hearing and seeing this. Okay, so this is communication. Help them develop their skill, their knowledge. And the second one is help the consumer develop their skills. You know, consumers are no longer passive. I'm saying it quite a lot today, but yeah, consumers want to be prosumers. That means they want to also be a producer. That means essentially they also want to do your job to a certain extent. So give them options to change the product, to rearrange it, to add stuff to it. This is easily done by working in components, giving them different components so that they can build their own candle holder, or even more complex ways of co-creation. But this can be simple as mixing and matching for the consumer so that they have the feeling that the tableware on the table is also something they made, partly. So the consumer today is not going to be passive and wait for your designs. They think that's very boring, and they want to be prosumer. Here you go, help them. Finally, communication side. This is the mental and emotional aspects of your product offer. And I tried to already talk about this when I showed you all the product groups in home that could basically function as wellness triggers. Okay, so this is a lot to do with your communication. What does it do to your mind? And how does it improve your emotional aspects or your emotional well-being? This product, what does a candle really do for you? Okay, you burn it, but we are no longer burning candles because we have no electricity. There's something else behind it. This is atmosphere. This is coziness. This is connecting. This is people cocooning, right? So re-communicate it into a wellness element, okay? By emphasizing what are the materials, what does it do to me in wellness sense? How can I use it? You know, as I told you, the candle is not just for electricity because we don't have power cuts, knock on wood, but we need atmosphere. And so the impact on the senses. So those 4 tips, I think, is basically your homework. So all go home and report back to me next week. And then we have another session and we look at your homework, right? No, I'm just kidding. So 4 wellness tips. Look at the categories. Which one can you adopt or which one can you focus on? Improve the consumer's knowledge. What can they learn from you? Improve the consumer skills. Can they also do something? And fourthly, what does it do to my mind or my body, the product that I'm buying from you? That's what they want to hear. Communication. Let me summarize. Here I am floating in the air. Oh no, I'm really sitting. And as I tried to explain to you, there's many aspects to wellness today. It's mental and physical and a whole lot of me and we elements, including sustainability, the position, the state of the earth. So the trend is huge because there's so many elements to it, and therefore pick your focus. Do it. I mean, really, I can advise you strongly to all look at this and build something into your concept, not in a inauthentic way, but really from an honesty kind of point of view. It's a huge trend, people. This is really happening. The new consumer is very much into it. Okay, so even if you don't want to do it, you're making a mistake because your future consumer and also the future or already existing professional buyer is more and more this age group, and they want to see your action there. They want to see diversity. They have a few things on the agenda that they will want to see back in your product and your offer, or otherwise they will go somewhere else. Okay, they vote with their pockets. You know, my generation, I'm in my 50s. We weren't like that. But this new consumer is an activist consumer. Keep it in mind. You know, this is not just me talking. Big business is really in it. And if you look around, you'll see it and recognize it. So hopefully based on my presentation, you will see a lot of wellness around you all the time when it comes to big business. If big business is into it, that means they have the supporting figures that this is going to stay. So I would say, go for it. Plenty of opportunities. You can pick and tune your categories into having a wellness impact on the consumer. Finally, appeal to the head and to the heart. Okay, head, they want to learn. Heart, they want to feel. Up to you now, guys. Q&A. Let's hear from you.
Well, first of all, Kees, thank you very much for taking us through this webinar. Very interesting, a lot of information, very well presented, nice with the paintings on expressing this trend on wellness. We have about 5 minutes left for the questions. Again,
Okay,
questions. Yeah, I will shoot, and otherwise we will answer them after the webinar. But first of all, is wellness a trend for consumers only, or has it also an impact on the business-to-business level?
Well, I tried to explain that, of course, the consumer is driving everything in this world. And yes, it's affecting all of our businesses. So if the consumer wants something, that also means that the retailer wants this, and also means that the wholesaler importer wants this, and therefore you also want it. So the people that are buying from you in a B2B sense, they are very much aware of those consumer trends and are trying to tune their business to take care of this important consumer needs. So automatically that means it comes to you because they know what's happening in the consumer's mind. So it's a consumer trend as well as a huge B2B trend. It's all one thing now.
Thank you, Kees. Next question is, we have different kind of generations. You've mentioned like the Millennials, we have the Generation Z, but we also have older generations, and they are also into wellness since they have time and money. Is that correct? Or is it only the younger generations that are into this new trend?
No, that's very correct. Of course, the older generation is not that flexible anymore into changing their lifestyles. Unfortunately, we have to say that the older consumer groups are a little bit less activist about the sustainable side. They are not used to introspection so much. Yoga is a thing that is actually quite new to them. So to a certain extent, they are lagging behind. But yes, of course, it's very true that they have the spending power to actually invest in wellness. But what I tried to show to you today is more that this new generation is into it. So that should be giving it the urgency to go into this. But sure, all the groups are also seeing this.
Thank you. You have given the example, the Ikea curtains that keep out pollution. Show that there's also a technical side to the trend of wellness. Do you see a big future for technical applications in home?
You know, I see a huge technological trend anyway in any area, also in sustainability. Technology is going to help us a lot, and also in wellness. You know, people have apps and people have online sessions. So the digital reality in wellness is huge. It's big. How we build that into our own concepts would be something maybe even looming over our heads, because maybe we have to learn how to do this. But yes, it's going to be very much part of wellness, and you need to look at how can I integrate it in the middle to longer future. But we're focusing mainly on handmade in our case, which is also a very strong cue for wellness, as I've told you.
Okay, thank you, Kees. You have also described the connection between the mega trends and consumer trends.
Yes.
Does every mega trend result in a consumer trend?
No, certainly not. What I tried to show you is that a certain selection of mega trends are all pointing to the same direction. And in this case, I tried to show you that there are 4 or 5 mega trends that are all pointing in the direction of wellness. So other mega trends are maybe pointing in different directions. They are pointing towards sustainability, or even this home sweet home trend. If I just quickly give that example of home sweet home, this whole migration crisis that we have in the world is really like making people feel about, oh, I'm lucky to have a home, I'm lucky to have a family. Some people don't, and that's pointing towards home sweet home. So different mega trends, you have to kind of see what they are pointing at. And if you have a few mega trends pointing to the same direction as in wellness, you can be sure that it's a very key and core wellness consumer trend.
Okay, thank you very much, Kees. We are at 11 o'clock and we shall be closing the webinar as it's time. There are still some questions coming in the question box. Again, we will answer these questions to you.
Sure.
On behalf of CBI, we would like to thank all the attendees for being here today and listening to this very interesting webinar today on wellness. I would like to thank Kees, Remco and Karin very much for putting up this webinar, and yeah, hope to see you in the next one. We will announce them in time to you. We will be back with the next webinar after the summer holidays. Again, thank you very much. And if you would help us a little bit by at the end of this, when we close the webinar, fill in our questionnaire to help us to improve our webinars, it would be very helpful to us. And for all of you, enjoy the day and thanks again. Thank you very much.